So this is a little different than what I normally do. Sometimes I normally don't get involved in these, but you know something? I kind of wanted to give my thoughts and ideas about this year in wrestling. Think of this as a bonus video for the year, and basically some of you subscribe to my channel just for the wrestling content. I'm going to try my best to rank these 13, I think it's 13, WWE pay-per-views, premium live events that happened this year. Not counting NXT. If you want NXT, I'll go a quick rundown at the end because I really don't watch NXT, but I tried to watch some of it before I did this and I was like, yeah, I can't sit through this. I'm sorry. So we're going to go through the beginning of the year of WWE's premium live events all the way up to the end of the year. Thank God there's nothing in December except for Deadline, which And I'll do the same for AEW in the next video. And if you want to see more videos like this, let me know. This is like my first time ever really doing a tier list. So let's start off ranking these one by one. We're going to start off with right here, day one. I don't know if it's recording my mouse, but day one. Yes, that happened this year, January 1st, 2022. Holy smokes. There were 7 matches on the card. Lesnar versus Roman was supposed to happen, but Roman tested positive for COVID, so instead they threw Lesnar into a match with Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, and Bobby Lashley and Big E in a fatal 5-way match for the WWE Championship. And what else happened on the show? Edge versus The Miz. My God. Becky Lynch was champion at the beginning of the year. She defeated Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan got a title shot at the beginning of the damn year? Holy smokes. And the Usos and the New Day. Anything else I'm missing here? Said there were 7 matches. Let me check on this here. Bam. All the way down. Come on. Like I said, this is my first time like really doing this. So please. Okay, Sheamus and Ridge Holland versus Cesaro and Ricochet. Cesaro was in the WWE at the beginning of the year. That's crazy to think about. Drew McIntyre, Madcap Moss, my God, RK Bro, and the Street Profits. Whew. And okay, those are the only ones I'm missing. So, day one, I'm glad they got rid of this idea to have a pay-per-view at the beginning of the year, because January 1st isn't always going to be falling on a weekend. But I'll say this: with my rankings, I got the best, pretty good, okay, and garbage. I don't think any pay-per-view has been really garbage this year. There's always been like one match that's been good. Like that's where I put is like it's a one-match card. But if I recall, the Usos and the New Day, they always put on a banger of a match. I can't remember how this match went though. So long ago. McIntyre, Madcap Moss. That was that the one where Madcap fell right on his friggin' head. And McIntyre was like, oh, snap. RK Bro and the Street Profits were a little fun. Granted, a little short. The Miz and Edge was... is that when Beth Phoenix came back too? Just standing at the top of the ramp and just like... But the most I remember of this show was that fatal 5-way match, which was just a car wreck. Like, it was crazy. But it was kind of decent, that fatal 5-way match. And like I said, the New Day and the Usos never put on like a bad match, and Street Profits and RKO. So day one, I'm glad they got rid of the concept. We got something else this year, hopefully, or I should say next year because I'm recording this in December. I will put day one at Like I said, you probably want to go out, see that fatal 5-way match, and then the 2 tag matches, even though I think is probably a 1-match card show. I'll be rearranging these 2 by the end, so don't worry. Alright, what's next? The Royal Rumble! Holy smokes, 2022 Royal Rumble. What happened at this year's Royal Rumble in 2022? What was the matches? Oh, Johnny Knoxville was in the Rumble. I totally forgot about that. So we had Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns, Ronda Rousey winning the Rumble, Becky Lynch versus Doudrop, Bobby Lashley beating Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship, yeah, Edge and Beth Phoenix against The Miz and Maurice. And, of course, Brock Lesnar winning the Royal Rumble by eliminating Drew McIntyre last. So, the Royal Rumble 2022. Both Royal Rumble matches were disappointing. Very disappointing. Granted, it was cool seeing Ronda Rousey come back. But the moment her music hit, you're like, okay, she's winning. And then the Men's Rumble, number 30, Lesnar's music hits. And it's like, he just wrestled for the championship. Why is he in the Rumble match? Like, I don't understand that. Edge and Beth Phoenix against The Miz and Maurice was a lot of fun. I remember that a bit. Becky Lynch and Doudrop, kind of like an underrated match in my opinion. It was decent. Like, this was Doudrop's big outing, you know. And of course, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, which is so far Roman Reigns' last televised or pay-per-view loss, granted by disqualification. So Seth Rollins has defeated Roman Reigns by disqualification. He has that on him to be the last person to beat Roman Reigns so far. Although, fun fact, the last person to pin Roman Reigns was Baron Corbin at TLC 2019. I know, right? Crazy. Anyway, Royal Rumble. God. Yeah, this was kind of a bad show. Just because those two Rumble matches were so disappointing and so lackluster. There was some cool spots. Bad Bunny being in there was cool, but Shane McMahon being in the Final Four is like, what the hell? Orton coming out, that was great because he was just laughing, having a blast. Because with the rumor backstage that he's like, I'm not going out to Here Comes the Money. Shane, you better get your ass out there. But yeah, Rumble. Boy, I hate to do this because the Rumble is usually one of my favorite pay-per-views of the year. I want to say the Rumble is not garbage. I don't think there was any garbage pay-per-view this year, to be honest. But it's probably the second worst pay-per-view of the year, next to Day One. Sadly, right? Right? That's okay. Moving on. Elimination Chamber 2022. Oh my God. That happened this year. It was the first Elimination Chamber ever in Saudi Arabia. There was 7 matches. 1 for the men's. Oh, they were both for the Raw brand. I'm sorry. And let me just check here. Whoops. That's not it. There we go. We had Rey Mysterio with Dominic versus The Miz. Roman Reigns versus Goldberg. Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship with Alexa Bliss, Doudrop, Liv Morgan, Nikki ASH, thank God that's gone, and Rhea Ripley. Naomi and Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair and Sonya Deville. Holy crap, Naomi. Was that a pay-per-view this year? Falls Count Anywhere with Drew McIntyre, Madcap Moss. This feud just kept effing going. Becky Lynch versus Lita, which in my opinion is another underrated gem this year. And then, of course, Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley, AJ Styles, Austin Theory, Riddle, and Seth Rollins for the WWE Championship in the Elimination Chamber. So, Elimination Chamber. From what I recall, Rey Mysterio and The Miz, short and sweet. Nothing too bad. Roman Reigns versus Goldberg. Again, another short and sweet. Thank God Goldberg's matches are all like that. Bianca Belair, the women's Elimination Chamber match. Basically, Bianca Belair won to get a shot at WrestleMania. This one was kind of very lackluster because Alexa Bliss gets this huge build-up about being in therapy. She comes back. She has a little swing set in the Elimination Chamber, which is great. Then she disappears for months. Liv Morgan, Nikki ASH, Rhea Ripley, and Doudrop. I do like when WWE puts, randoms in like chamber matches and whatnot instead of just always having big stars like you'll see later on. Naomi and Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair and Sonya Deville. Ronda Rousey had to wrestle with one arm tied behind her back. This was another short match. This was just a bad pay-per-view. Probably the only good match, in my opinion, was Becky Lynch and Lita, which went only 12 minutes and 10 seconds. I'm looking at the wiki as I read this, but I remember that, and I even said, "Wow, Lita hasn't really lost a step. Lita's really doing pretty good out there." And looks like the shortest elimination chamber match ever is the men's chamber match for the WWE Championship. There was a couple cool spots, of course. Lesnar F5ing Theory off the top of the chamber, and then whatever. I'm sorry, chamber slightly better in my opinion than the Rumble, but yeah, we're still at just for pay-per-views. But now we get to the good stuff. We get to some of the good stuff. I'm a little biased towards this. I'm splitting it up into night 1 and night 2, as you see down there. Night 1 and night 2, WrestleMania 38. I'm a slight bias to this because I actually was there live. WrestleMania 38. Live. But we'll go by night 1, night 2. The Usos versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs. Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin. The Miz and Logan Paul versus Rey Mysterio and Dominic. Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch. Cody Rhodes as a mystery opponent versus Seth Rollins. Charlotte versus Ronda Rousey. And then Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Kevin Owens. WrestleMania Night 1. WrestleMania Night 1 was amazing. The Usos and Nakamura was fun until poor Boogs. His injury, sad. Drew McIntyre getting that spot with Corbin being the first person to ever kick out of the End of Days. The Miz and Logan Paul versus Rey Mysterio and Dominic. This match showed, like, was the beginning of Logan Paul, in my opinion, probably being the rookie of the year. And this is where Logan Paul worked the best, in my opinion. He needs to be a heel. Logan Paul just has one of those faces, his real life attitude. He's just a douchebag heel. He needs to be that. Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch, phenomenal match. Especially being there live. The crowd loved it. Everybody loved it. It was great. My match of the night, Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins. Phenomenal. That pop when Cody came out, the ring announcer, the way he said his name. You know, it was amazing. Charlotte Flair, Ronda Rousey. That was a dud. And then a no-holds-barred match, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is just amazing. Like, he was running this feud on his back, coming out in that bald cap, pretending to be Stone Cold. He uses the stunner as his finisher. And Stone Cold wrestling again. I was like a little kid. Like I mentioned before, Stone Cold's my favorite wrestler of all time. Yes, I know about the awful things he's done, and I try not to think about it. And still, WrestleMania Night 1, so far, is the best premium live event. The best. It was just incredible that first night. Now, some people would say Night 2 is better than Night 1. Well, let's see. Night 2, we had a triple threat tag team match. RK Bro against the Street Profits and Huff Academy. Bobby Lashley versus Omos. A hidden gem this year, Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn. That match, that was great. Fatal 4-way for the tag team women's tag team championship. Sasha Banks and Naomi versus Carmella. Sorry. Queen Selena. Oh my God, they were tag team champions at the beginning of the year. Holy sh! Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. That was a team. Natalya and Shayna Baszler. That was also a team. And then night 2, probably my match of the night, being Edge versus AJ Styles. And then the sad squash match of the Brawling Brutes versus the New Day. Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. And then Pat McAfee versus Mr. McMahon. And then Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar for the Universal Champion. WWE winner take all match. Unify the WWE. Again, I was there live. And I'll say this. Night 2 was a great night also. That opening triple threat tag match with RK Bro. Even though sadly my boys, the Alpha Academy, I love them, lost. But RK Bro was amazing. Bobby Lashley and Omos, that was painful to get through. Sami Zayn and Johnny Knoxville was so much fun. So much fun. You need some goofy, silly stuff in wrestling. The Fatal 4-Way match for the Tag Championship, just to see Sasha and Naomi get that moment, was great. Edge and AJ was really good. That was when Damian Priest came by and he's like, "Hey, I'm part of the Judgment Day now. We're the Judgment Day. Hey, hey." Sheamus, the Brawling Boots. It's just a sad, sad match. Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory, and not only that, Pat McAfee has the benefit of being Vince McMahon's last wrestling opponent ever so far. If the rumors are true, he's coming back. He better not. Pat McAfee has shown like he's put on some really great matches. Go check out his NXT run against like Adam Cole when he had that feud. He was it's crazy how well he's taken to this thing. So Pat McAfee, more power to you. And then Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar was just a finish fest. It was boring. The crowd tried to get behind it, but it just was not that good. So, but WrestleMania Night 2, I think it's slightly below WrestleMania Night 1. But WrestleMania as a whole was a really good WrestleMania this year. Really good. And now we get to the wacky, weirdly named WrestleMania Backlash. There were only 6 matches. Oh, by the way, that WrestleMania 38 was the last WrestleMania Vince McMahon ever booked. So, but we're still in the Vince McMahon era here. So 6 matches were contested at the events for WrestleMania Backlash. That's that one with the Edge picture right down there. A lot of these posters are awesome. I'm going to talk about some of these posters. We had the Bloodline. That's Roman Reigns and the Usos versus McIntyre and RK Bro. We had Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair in an I Quit match. We had Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins in another very long match. Omos versus Bobby Lashley again. Basically, this was all just a WrestleMania rematch match, except for Madcap Moss and Happy Corbin, and the Bloodline versus RK Bro. So, WrestleMania Backlash. Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, I think they put on a better match here than they did at Mania 1, Night 1. Omos, Bobby Lashley, short, sweet, 2 big men beating the piss out of each other. It was it's okay. I will never say anybody is terrible in the ring, because that's a little disrespectful. Some people, they train. I know Omos' style is supposed to be this big, lumbering giant, and Bobby Lashley is this big, beefy monster that also just runs really fast and hits you. So that was alright. Edge and AJ probably put on a better match, in my opinion, at Backlash than they did at Mania. It was also really good. Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair, I Quit match. This was when Ronda became SmackDown Women's Champion. Charlotte has not been seen on television since. Madcap Moss versus Happy Corbin. He still sadly had the joke entrance here, I believe. It was short, it was sweet. This was like the downfall of Happy Corbin. And the Bloodline, Roman Reigns and the Usos versus RK Bro. That's Randy Orton and Matt Riddle, against Drew McIntyre. That was a fun match. WrestleMania Backlash wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great either. But it had some really, really good matches on there. Probably like only 2 of them were bad. So I will say WrestleMania Backlash was actually pretty good. It was pretty good. Eve Green did all the matches. Most of them were just rematches, except for Madcap and Happy Corbin, and then the 6-man tag at the end. But still, WrestleMania Backlash was pretty good in my opinion. Like it was alright. Next up, Hell in a Cell. We had Bianca Belair versus Asuka and Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Champion. This is around the time Sasha and Naomi walked out, by the way. Bobby Lashley versus Omos again, and MVP this time in a 2-on-1 handicap. Kevin Owens versus Ezekiel. The Judgment Day is now full force. Edge, Damian Priest, and Rhea Ripley against AJ Styles, Finn Balor, and Liv Morgan. Then Madcap Moss against Happy Corbin in a no-holds-barred match. Austin Theory versus Mustafa Ali for the United States Championship. And, of course, the match of the night, Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins. Hell in a cell. All right. Okay, so storylines here. Sasha Banks and Naomi walked out, so they had Asuka and Becky Lynch take on Bianca Belair in a triple threat match. And Bianca Belair retained, I believe, if I recall, Asuka took the pin, right? Becky knocked out Asuka, but then Bianca came in, threw Becky out, and pinned Asuka or something like that. I think. I cannot remember for the life of me. This was such it's terrible, my memory. Bobby Lashley, I believe, made MVP tap out by submission in the 2-on-1 handicap match. The Kevin Owens-Ezekiel feud. Oh my god. I'm so glad Elias is back, but the Ezekiel thing was funny at first. Just the whole I'm Elias's younger brother, Ezekiel, always got a chuckle out of me. And then seeing like the stuff online, like him going to NXT, be like, oh, this is where my brother was, and Tony D'Angelo, all like, I know your secret, you're Italian. But I'm so glad that Kevin Owens kind of killed Ezekiel, and having that hilarious picture of Elias playing all the people. 6-person mixed tag match, Judgment Day against AJ Finn, and then I believe the next night they kicked Edge out and Finn Balor took over the Judgment Day. Madcap Moss, Theory, Mustafa Ali, they're still wrestling to this day, dear God. And of course, match of the night and probably match of the year for some people. Cody Rhodes wrestling with a torn pectoral muscle going up against Seth Rollins in a Hell in a Cell match. Hell in a Cell 2022. Sadly, to me, it was just okay. But that Cody Rhodes, I'm sorry, I got to put it at pretty good. Just at the bottom of pretty good, because Cody Rhodes, he's probably one of the toughest sons of bitches I've ever seen get into a wrestling ring and just decide to wrestle like that. Torn pectoral, everything. My God, Cody. And then he came out the next night saying he wanted to be in Money in the Bank. I was like, no, Cody, go get surgery. Come back at the Rumble, win the Rumble, face Roman at night 2 so The Rock can face him at night 1 and you can beat the title off of him, man. Yeah, I'm still in that boat that Cody needs to be the one to take it off Roman. He deserves it after that Hell in a Cell. The guy could have just said no to the match and then frickin' just not like have the match. Anyway, next up, Money in the Bank, with that pretty cool picture of Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch, the married couple, counting their money. That's pretty fun. Alright, we had the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Liv Morgan defeating Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Becky Lynch, Lacey Evans. Oh my God, she's being repackaged again. Raquel Rodriguez and Shotzi Blackheart. Bobby Lashley defeated Theory for United States Championship by submission. Bianca Belair defeated Carmella for the Raw Women's Championship. I think this is also because, again, Sasha and Naomi walked out because we haven't seen Carmella since, I believe. And then another great, probably the match of the night on Money in the Bank is the Usos and the Street Profits for the Undisputed Tag Team Championship, sorry. Ronda Rousey defeated Natalya by submission for the SmackDown Championship, and then that's when Liv Morgan cashed in, beat Ronda Rousey. And then, originally it was scheduled to be Drew McIntyre, Madcap Moss, Omos, Riddle, Sami Zayn, Seth Rollins, and Sheamus for the Money in the Bank ladder match. And then they had Theory come out, and he was literally in the match for like 30 seconds until he won the match. In my honest opinion, I think Seth Rollins should have won Money in the Bank, because Seth Rollins is doing career work, and as much as I want Cody Rhodes to get away from Seth Rollins, if Seth Rollins was like saying he's going to cash in Money in the Bank and Cody comes back and they feud over the briefcase, and like I said, I really want Cody to get away from Rollins, even though they had 3 matches back to back to back, just amazing, but Rollins lost to him 3 goddamn times. It would have made so much more sense Seth Rollins to be Money in the Bank. Liv Morgan winning, cashing in was okay, but then like I think she lost it like 2 months later, right? At Extreme Rules. Yeah, she didn't lose it at the next pay-per-view. Money in the Bank was just okay. It was just okay because, again, that Street Profits And Usos match, it was great. Like, for some reason, I know people hate the fact that the Usos are ranked number one in like Pro Wrestling Illustrated's Tag Team of the Year. And don't get me wrong, FTR deserves it too. But the Usos have put on more televised matches, I believe, than FTR. Yeah, thanks, Tony Khan. But yeah, the Usos, they always seem for the past year to have not had like a bad match, like tag team match. But then again, they're always going up against the Street Profits, the New Day, RK Bro. Right now, well, we'll get to that storyline later. But yeah, Money in the Bank was okay. The whole Austin Theory thing, and then he cashed in on Seth Rollins for the U.S. Championship and lost, and then he wins the title. What was it, like 2 weeks at the next pay-per-view, which was War Games, which we'll get to War Games. Yeah, Money in the Bank was just okay. It really was disappointing, sadly, but like I said, I don't think there was any garbage pay-per-views this year. That's just awful to say, but it's up there. Next up, we are getting into the Triple H era. Technically still Vince McMahon, because this was the first pay-per-view event following the retirement of Vince, to which he retired 8 days before, but still he's the one that booked most of these matches, and Triple H just finished the thing. We got, whoa, sorry about that, SummerSlam 2022. We had Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch in another rematch. These two can't seem to have a bad match. They had a really great match at WrestleMania. This match was fun until Becky's poor arm. This is when Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io, as it said on her Titanton, Shirai, but they called her Io Sky there, came back. Logan Paul and The Miz and Tommaso Ciampa and Maurice were at ringside, surprisingly. This was a good match too. Sadly, The Miz, we'll talk about things I hated this year about WWE too. Don't worry. Bobby Lashley defeated Theory in a squash match for the U.S. Championship. Whew. No disqualification tag team match. The Mysterios, I almost said the Rays. The Mysterios defeated the Judgment Day, Finn Balor and Damian Priest. This is when Edge came out in that Brood thing to help out Rey Mysterio and Dominic from getting the beat down. Pat McAfee defeated Happy Corbin. Thank God, Pat McAfee. It's a shame that you were Vince McMahon's last opponent. The Usos up again. Oh, this match. I totally forgot about this, but this is great. Against the Street Profits for the Undisputed Tag Team Championship, because at Money in the Bank, Montez's Ford shoulder was up when the referee counted 3. And they had to have a rematch with special guest referee, current AEW superstar, that's JEFFJARRETT, Double J, Jeff Jarrett, who had a crazy year. Jeff Jarrett, special referee. Liv Morgan defeated Ronda Rousey. Really? This was at SummerSlam? Oh my God. And then probably their best match out of all their matches, Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, last man standing. It was so much fun. It was so good. Brock Lesnar comes out in that tractor, pulls the ring up, knocks the ring over. Roman beats Lesnar by piling a whole bunch of crap on him. Theory stupidly tries to cash in during the match to make it a triple threat when he should have just cashed in at the end of the match. Paul Heyman getting F5 through the announce table and being dead through the whole kit and caboodle, which was hilarious. Logan Paul and The Miz was a lot of fun. This showed Logan Paul can work with almost anybody, and it shows that like The Miz, poor Miz, dude. Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch always seem to have a great match. The Mysterios against the Judgment Day. They beat the Judgment Day. This is when the Judgment Day was starting the job. Like, they were being booked awfully. It wasn't until after Clash at the Castle they've been booked perfectly. McAfee, Happy Corbin was fun. So, yeah. SummerSlam 2022. In my opinion, this is going to be a hot take. in my opinion, it's one of the best shows this year. It's below night 1 and night 2 of Mania, but it's definitely one of the best shows this year. Definitely, definitely, definitely. And now we get to Clash at the Castle. There were only 7 matches, I believe. And there was a kickoff show match, which just happened out of nowhere. Madcap Moss and the Street Profits against Austin Theory and Alpha Academy. Crazy, right? Then we had Damage Control. That's Dakota Kai, Io Sky, and Bayley going against Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka. They're still going at each other. And then what some would say was probably their match of the year for the Intercontinental Championship, Gunther versus Sheamus. And then we had Liv Morgan versus Shayna Baszler. And for the Women's Championship, my God, Liv Morgan actually held the title for a couple months. Edge and Rey Mysterio beating the Judgment Day, and this is when Dominic kicked Edge in the balls, turned on Rey Mysterio, beat up Rey, joined the Judgment Day, and he now calls Rhea Ripley Mommy. Seth Rollins and Riddle, and then Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. Solo Sikoa debuting to save Roman Reigns from the 3 count. Clash at the Castle. This is probably a hot take, but I get a feeling this is going to be like what everyone, or almost everyone, Clash at the Castle was the best. Without a doubt. 100% the best pay-per-view of the year. This pay-per-view was amazing. This was the first pay-per-view that Triple H kind of did. And yeah, you got Gunther and Sheamus staring off as the Brawling Brutes, and the rest of Imperium just beat the piss out of each other. And then Gunther and Sheamus just beat the holy shit out of each other. Like, Sheamus's chest looked like raw meat, just everywhere. It was amazing. And then Edge and Rey Mysterio against the Judgment Day was a lot of fun. Seth Rollins and Matt Riddle was brilliant, even though Seth beat Rollins. Seth beat Riddle, but still. Roman Reigns and McIntyre was incredible, and that near fall in which Solo pulls out the referee, and it's Solo Sikoa. Oh my God! I'm like, Clash of the Castle. Chef kisses. Mwah. Nothing's topping it. That's a spoiler right now. Clash at the Castle is officially the best pay-per-view this year. That includes AEW. I'll rank the AEW pay-per-views probably tomorrow. Like, this is going to be a bonus video and whatnot. But Clash at the Castle, in my opinion, was the best pay-per-view all around this year for WWE or any wrestling event. I'm sure. Well, we'll talk more about that. After Clash at the Castle, we had Worlds Collide, NXT. But after that was Extreme Rules. Holy smokes, the first Extreme Rules pay-per-view that had a stipulation for every match. Thank God, because they needed it. And that's what I remember Extreme Rules for, is to be a stipulation every match instead of just one match being, an Extreme Rules match. We had the Brawling Brutes against Imperium. This feud has been, this Imperium and Brawling Brutes feud was crazy. It was in a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. Ronda Rousey defeated Liv Morgan. This is when Ronda Rousey got the championship back by technical submission. I think Liv Morgan passed out in an Extreme Rules match. Karrion Kross defeated Drew McIntyre in a strap match. Bianca Belair defeated Bayley in a ladder match. A great match, too. Finn Balor beat Edge in an I Quit match because they were threatening to basically kill Beth Phoenix. Brilliant. And then, surprisingly, Daniel Cormier, as a special referee for Matt Riddle beating Seth Rollins in a fight pit match. This pay-per-view was a lot of fun. This pay-per-view, like I said, the Brawling Brutes against Imperium was amazing. Even though it was short, Karrion Kross and Drew was fun. Ronda Rousey and Liv, I'm sorry, I'm not one to say fire Ronda Rousey, but she is not taken to this pretty good. Finn Balor and Edge was also really good. And, it was a short, sweet pay-per-view. I love those pay-per-views so much. And, so I will put Editor's note right here. I totally forgot that Bray Wyatt returned at Extreme Rules 2022, and I'll say I've enjoyed some of it, like him and the LA Knight stuff. Keep Alexa Bliss as far away from him as possible, but it looks like she's gonna be joining him. But I just thought I'd tell you this. This is being recorded right after I made the video because I totally forgot to mention about the Bray Wyatt thing. So yeah. So back to the ranking. Extreme Rules probably the because like I said, Hell in a Cell is like a one. Where would I put it? Right there. There we go. My screen cut out there. Holy smokes. So Extreme Rules is probably the best of the, or I should say, right now top of pretty good for pretty good pay-per-views. After that, we had NXT Halloween Havoc. Like I said, I'll talk about NXT at the end of the night. At the end of this video, we're already a half hour in. Crown Jewel 2022. There were 8 matches contested. Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley. Lesnar beat Lashley by pinfall. Damage Control. Dakota Kai and Io Sky beat Alexa Bliss and Asuka for the women's tag match. They lost it a week before this show, like on Raw. Steel Cage match, probably their best match. Drew McIntyre defeated Karrion Kross. And then this is finally when the Judgment Day started to get some wins. This is when they started finally be booked perfectly. The Judgment Day against the OC, that is Finn Balor, Damian Priest, and Dominic, with Rhea Ripley, against AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson. Braun Strowman defeated Omos. And again, another great match. The Usos defeated the Brawling Brutes. And another good match. Bianca Belair defeated Bayley in the last women's standing match. And then, probably the match of the night. Probably some people's match of the year, too. Roman Reigns defeated Logan Paul for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Crown Jewel 2022. Probably the best Crown Jewel they've ever had. And sadly, that's a sad thing to say because Crown Jewel 2022 was also, well, we'll go match by match. Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley. The way this match started, Brock Lesnar just came out of nowhere on Monday Night Raw and said, "Hey Bobby, how you doing?" Went to shake his hand and beat the piss out of him, and then that's when Seth Rollins beat Bobby Lashley for the United States Championship. This was a fun match. This was a match that we should have had at like the Rumble earlier in the year, but it was a short one. Hopefully, I think because the way they're booking it, looks like Lashley is just on an anger streak and he wants Lesnar one more time. So hopefully at like the Rumble or something big. I think it's rumored that Lesnar is supposed to go against Gunther at Mania, but hopefully something big happens this year, or I should say next year. Whenever I upload this, I don't know. Damage Control, and this match was sad because it's like, why? They had this match, they took the titles off Damage Control just to give it back to them on this show, just to have a title change, because what do you call there? WWE wants Saudi Arabia shows to be taken seriously when most of the time they're just glorified house shows. McIntyre and Karrion Kross was fun. Again, this was, sadly, again, even though there were some good matches and it's probably the best Crown Jewel, this was somewhat a one-match show. Also, Logan Paul. So this is at the, no, I'll put it at the top of okay. It's not bad. It's not eh. It's not pretty good either. It's just okay. It's better than Money in the Bank. And now we move on to the last WWE pay-per-view of the year, not counting anything NXT. I'll talk about NXT at the end of the video. WWE Survivor Series War Games. I'm a little biased. I'm a little biased for this because I was there live. Yeah. I was there live. We had the Women's War Games match. Team Belair featuring Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, Asuka, Mia Yim, and Becky Lynch going up against Team Damage Control featuring Bayley, Dakota Kai, Io Sky, Nikki Cross, who is no longer ASH and she retired the 24/7 championship, and Rhea Ripley. We had AJ Styles versus Finn Balor, Ronda Rousey versus Shotzi, triple threat match between Austin Theory, Seth Rollins, and Bobby Lashley. And then the men's War Games match, the Bloodline, Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, the Usos, and Sami Zayn versus Team Brawling Brutes, Sheamus, Ridge Holland, Butch, Drew McIntyre, and Kevin Owens. Alright. Like I said, I was there live for this, and it's funny that the women's match went 1 minute and 10 seconds longer than the men's. The women's match was a lot of chaotic fun. Like it was like a hot garbage chaos. Like it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great either. But they freaking gave it their all. Like all the women there. Edge and I'm sorry, not Edge. Finn Balor and AJ Styles. AJ finally getting his first win on pay-per-view since what was it, 2019? And he hasn't had like a pay-per-view win since Money in the Bank 2021, I think. But like that was his first singles pay-per-view win since 2019, which is crazy to think. Shotzi and Ronda. Sorry, y'all work hard, but sometimes I feel like y'all aren't that great. And then the men's War Game match, which chef kisses, the whole Sami Zayn thing and the Bloodline and whatnot. In my opinion, it's going to get bonus points because 1, I was there live, 2, the Sami Zayn stuff, and 3, this poster. Look at this poster. This is probably one of the sickest posters WWE has ever done. In my opinion, War Games was the 3rd best pay-per-view of the year. For WWE, that is. So, that's how I would rank them this year. The best, Clash at the Castle, WrestleMania Night 1, Survivor Series War Games, WrestleMania Night 2, SummerSlam. Pretty good, Extreme Rules, WrestleMania Backlash, Hell in a Cell. Okay, Crown Jewel, Money in the Bank, and Elimination Chamber, Royal Rumble, Day 1. So I'll probably do AEW, which is probably going to be a shorter video than this. Maybe tomorrow I'll upload the AEW one. But also some quick things let's talk about, because some people like to hear my opinions. WWE this year has been a huge, crazy year. The whole Vince McMahon sexual allegations and retirement. I'll go over some of the things I like about WWE this year. Of course, anything involving the Bloodline. The Bloodline has probably been the best storyline with the Sami Zayn stuff this year. Sami Zayn finally being accepted by Jey Uso, and he's doing that double handshake now with Jimmy and Jay. Roman accepting him already. Solo, all that. Fantastic. Kevin Owens has had a great year too. It started off great with the Stone Cold thing and trying to get a match at Mania. And then we had a little hiccup with the Ezekiel stuff, but he kind of sold that so well. I mean, he came out with a wig on saying, well, who was it? I'm Ron. I'm Kevin Owens' older brother. Yeah, Kevin Owens has been great this year. McIntyre's had an up and down year, but still, he put on probably one of the best matches this year. He's consistently had some really good matches. Gunter, Imperium, or I should say Gunter, has just had some amazing matches too on SmackDown defending that title. He just defended it against Ricochet, which is an amazing match. Some things I've hated about WWE this year. Dexter Lumis and The Miz. I don't hate Dexter Lumis. I think he has a silly, fun gimmick, but he has been feuding with The Miz for what feels like an eternity. I think it's been like 18 weeks as of this recording. 18 weeks. That's like what? 3 months? 2 months? No, that's like 3 months. Almost 4 months. He's been feuding with The Miz. And I feel so bad for The Miz. Like, The Miz is good at what he does. He's just always in shitty storylines. Just shit. I did not like Austin Theory cashing in on the United States Championship. And then he won at War Games there. But again, it's kind of, even though his career was dead in the water, it's okay now because he's like, don't call me kid or anything. And it looks like they're setting something up between him, Ziggler, and Rollins. But again, WWE, as of this recording, is at that time of year in which they don't give a crap about anything. They just throw on random shows until the Rumble. They haven't even made any build to the Rumble. The only thing they said was Kofi's going to be in the Rumble. Sadly, Big E, with that injury breaking his neck, it's awful. Awful. Hopefully we can see him one more day, or for a long time, I should say, do what he does. Let's talk about NXT. I would rank NXT like this, real quickly, from the ones I were able to watch. I liked Worlds Collide, probably number 1. In Your House, number 2. Halloween Havoc 3. What was the recent one? Deadline, I believe, was number 4 in my opinion. And then Stand and Deliver was kind of like, except for that ladder match, it's kind of crazy. I'm glad NXT is going to be going back to arena shows because they definitely need it. Because watching NXT specials taking place from like the Performance Center, or like whatever it's called now, watching their premium live events taken from there, it's so boring. I'm sorry. But again, Braun Breaker's had a great year, even though like he loses at Stand and Deliver, beats Dolph Ziggler the next night on Raw, which made no sense to me. Just some strange booking stuff. Edge starting the Judgment Day, Finn Balor joins it, they kick him out, but then Judgment Day's been booked so much better. Some other things I'm kind of disliking. It was cool at first seeing a whole bunch of people come back, but now it's like getting old. Some of them have been like flops. Emma, she came back, appeared once on TV, just gone. Who else? Who else did he bring back? Tegan Knox just came back, already gets a title shot for beating somebody. I can't remember, but they lost their title match. Who else came back? I like Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae come back. I think Candice got injured and she just started wrestling again. But you got to get Gargano away from The Miz. Get Gargano with somebody he can really tear the house down with. Just get him away from The Miz. Or just try to make the damn storyline better. Like I said, The Miz is great at what he does. The Miz is a phenomenal heel. He's a great talker. He's okay in the ring because he wrestles very safe, which is fine, you know. But he's always in shitty storylines. Like he's in god awful storylines every single time. Zombies, the Dexter Lumis thing, being a main event with John Cena when it's really The Rock going to face John Cena because The Miz wasn't that big of a star. He's just always in crappy storylines. And don't ever make the Miz a babyface. Keep him as a heel. He's a terrible babyface. Okay, I've rambled on long enough. I hope you enjoyed this tier ranking video. This is my first time doing this. If you enjoy these, I'll try to do another one. Again, this is just my opinion. That's what I think. I think Clash of the Castle was the best pay-per-view of the year, followed by WrestleMania Night 1, then War Games, WrestleMania Night 2, SummerSlam, and then the rest like that. I think Day 1 was the worst pay-per-view of the year, followed by the Rumble being the second worst. Then again, no, yeah, Rumble is the second worst pay-per-view, sadly. But I don't think there was any garbage pay-per-views. And like I said, I'm sure New Japan, Stardom, all those other big companies probably put on great shows, but I just don't have enough time in the world to watch all of them, sadly. I'm sorry, I just don't. So stay tuned for tomorrow. I will have the AEW pay-per-views of the year. Spoilers, there's no Ring of Honor stuff on it, except for the matches that happen on the pay-per-views. But sorry I rambled on. I hope you enjoyed this. My name's Clinkeroith. Thank you all so much for watching. If you want to see more tier lists, just let me know and I'll try to make them. Thank you.